Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. For my fellow Americans who don't know what that means, we're basically, that is the common Sikh greeting, and it means that this community, all of us belong to God, and victory also belongs to God. So I'd like to share with you the biographical information for the victims tonight. First, Paramjit Kaur Saini was the only woman killed in Sunday's shooting at the Sikh Temple of Wisconsin. She was born on April 25th, 1971, and she is survived by her two sons, 20-year-old Kamaljit Singh Saini and 18-year-old Harpreet Singh Saini. She was a weekly presence at the temple, as her faith stemmed deep in the Sikh religion. She came to pray and serve every Sunday and Thursday. She was a very selfless woman, always putting her husband and sons first beyond anything else. After arriving in the United States in 2004, she recently returned to India to visit the Golden Temple with her sons for the very first time. She valued education greatly. She wanted to ensure her sons made use of the opportunity of education in this country. She was an amazing wife, an amazing mother, and nothing meant more to her than her family. Suveg Singh Katra was born on July 6, 1928 in Patiala, Punjab, India. Suveg made his living by farming and decided to emigrate to the United States in 2004 and his wife, Nichitar Kaur, to live with his sons, Baljinder Singh Katra, and daughter-in-law, Kulwant Kaur. Suveg was a strong and devout man who was very devoted to his Gurdwara and to his religion. He will be remembered by those around him for his punctuality in everything that he did, and he is survived by his 5 children and his 7 grandchildren. Suveg Singh held a key role at the Sikh Temple of Wisconsin, as he provided fellowship by asking members of congregation about their families or offering an uplifting scripture passage. Suveg Singh, who lived with his family, was known to come to the temple early in the morning and stay through the evening, sometimes as late as 7 p.m. This is a quote. "He knew some of my relatives. He used to talk about how life has been," said Manminder Singh Sethi, a dentist in Brown Deer. He was really happy. He was always happy. He will be immensely missed at his granddaughter's wedding in Haryana, India, this December. Infinite sadness has filled her heart, knowing her grandfather won't be there to see her get married off. Next, the bio of 2 brothers. The first, Sita Singh, was born on November 15th, 1970. He was the younger brother of Ranjit Singh from the Daluwala Majpata village. He moved to New Delhi after completing his education and then transitioned to the States in New York. He was known as a tough and dedicated man who was very easy to talk to. He is survived by his wife and his 4 children. Priest Sita Singh moved here from New York approximately 6 months ago to serve the Sikh Temple of Wisconsin while another priest was gone. He was shot and killed along with his older brother, Ranjit Singh, on Sunday. Sita Singh was dedicated to all duties of the temple, such as cutting the grass on the property, trimming the bushes. He led morning services every day around 5 a.m. Sita Singh lived in the temple where his brother had once served as a longtime priest, and his life ended there as well. His brother, Ranjit Singh, was from the same village, and he moved to New Delhi after completing his education and moved to the United States in 1997. He was an active member of his community and committed himself to volunteer work and played tabla, Indian drums, during religious ceremonies. He is survived by his wife and children who currently reside in India. One of his sons, Gurvinder Singh, was 7 months old when Ranjit Singh left his home in New Delhi, India. 16 years later, his son hoped to see his father return to New Delhi this November for the celebration of the Indian holiday, Diwali. Ranjit Singh played the Indian drums during prayer services at the temple. He worked different jobs on weekdays, sending whatever money he could gather to his wife and son, hoping to secure a more stable future for his family. Prakash Singh was born on November 1st, 1972, and was from New Delhi, India. He was known by his friends and family for being a very caring and hardworking man. He immigrated to the United States in 2005, and he is survived by his wife and 2 children. He reunited with his family just 45 days ago after 7 years. A priest at the Sikh Temple of Wisconsin for about 6 years, Prakash Singh had gone to India in June, returning with his wife, his 11-year-old son, and his 12-year-old daughter. Prakash Singh had been in the United States for about 9 years, but received his green card about 6 or 7 months ago. He had been staying in the living quarters at the temple, and after reuniting with his family, Prakash Singh was preparing to move. A priest may only live in the temple alone, not with his family. Prakash Singh had just found a new apartment and was ready to share his life with his children and wife. Satwant Singh Kaleka died defending the temple he built, attempting to fend off a gunman who attacked worshippers on Sunday. He was born on June 2nd, 1947, in Kaleki, Dugal, Punjab, India. Kaleka came to the United States in 1982 with only $100 in his pocket, but he worked tirelessly to give back to others, to build a solid foundation and a future for his family, as well as build a vibrant Sikh community in the south of the city. His tireless dedication and commitment to the Sikh community and religion, as well as his deep-seated and unshakable faith, kept him resilient despite the endeavor. He was the go-to man in every situation for many people. The Sikh Temple of Wisconsin grew from a tiny congregation of about 10 or 15 families who used to rent out the pavilion in Humboldt Park each Sunday in 1992. Kaleka spearheaded the growth of the congregation, which by the late 1990s had moved into an old credit union building on East Lincoln Avenue, and later bought 5 acres on Howell Avenue in Oak Creek and built the current temple, which officially opened in July of 2007. He has been president of the institution since 1996. Kaleka leaves behind his wife, 2 sons, 3 grandchildren. Kaleka was a fearless, selfless, and dedicated protector of his temple, his community, his loved ones. He played that role until his very, very last breath. He dedicated his life to the community center, to the Gurdwara. He dedicated his faith to the Sikh religion, and he would not have had it any other way, even until his dying day. We pay homage to all these people, and every day forth to the legacy that they leave behind, what heroes they all were in every single way. But religion, as we see it, was created to actually remind us of the divinity which is in each and every one of us. Religion was created to join us together, not to divide us. The only time religion divides us is when we don't understand what it means. Thus, an attack against a religion, any religion, is an attack against all of us. It's an attack against the idea that any one of us can practice our faith freely. And we're so humbled and pleased, not only by the turnout today, but by the national and international outpouring of support that reminds each and every one of us in this community that you truly do understand that message. There are a few concepts that are helping us get through this very difficult time in our community. The Sikh religion teaches us 3 golden rules: that we should always remember our source, always remember our creator and where we came from, that we should earn our living by honest means, and that we must share our earnings with others. These are golden principles that apply, I think, not only to our faith, but to every faith. I think they not only apply to every faith, I think they apply to every American, regardless of faith. These are not only Sikh values, these are American values. And this is why we're proud to call ourselves Sikh Americans. What else is getting us through this difficult time is our spirit and resolve. We have in our tradition an idea of Chardi Kala. For our community members here, you know that when we meet each other and when we ask each other, how are you, on any given Sunday, we'll oftentimes reply with a simple answer, Chardi Kala. That means high spirits. I'm in high spirits, no matter what. And where does that spirit come from? It comes from our scripture that teaches us the principles and the ideals to live by. It also comes from a history which has endured struggle and persecution throughout its 500 years of existence. That struggle and persecution, however, has not changed our core values or made us different. It has only made our resolution more strong. And as we've come to this country over 100 years ago, to the shores of California, the first Gurdwara being established all the way in 1912, and began contributing to society in this country, building the railroads, working on the farms, having the first Asian American member of Congress. All these efforts taught us that this is our country as well. We are all a country of immigrants. We've heard this before, and we've all endured the struggles. So, the thing that's getting us through this is our spirit, which comes from our scripture. And our scripture tells us, fear none, frighten none. Fear none and frighten none. We are not here to drum up fear. Though we have faced some tragedy in the past few days, we mustn't fear. Our gurdwaras will stand the way they have. They will continue to have 4 doors that welcome members of any faith, of any tradition, any direction. Welcome yourselves to our gurdwaras. They are open to you all. Our gurdwara services will continue. Every Sunday there's a community meal which is served, where we all sit on the ground and we break bread together. We do that because we are community. We are all community, and nothing changes as a result. We are also without enemy. We are without enemy. Regardless of what has happened in the past few days, no one is our enemy. That is why we are open. That is why we continue to be welcoming. And that is why today's event is not for 6 members of the community that I'm here representing. This is for 7 members of the human community that we are all here representing.
Fear no one, frighten none. What a better way of practicing peace than that? Life after hate is a part of a community of formers and survivors who have come together to promote healing, forgiveness, reconciliation, and to recognize the basic human goodness and value and worth in all human beings, regardless of any superficial differences that may exist. And we find that the inherent differences that exist are often what bind us together. This act of terrorism on your community has failed. It has failed simply because, although we have been shaken, we have not been frightened. Although we have been wounded, we have not been stopped. And if nothing else, this community has been brought to the forefront of the larger enveloping community's consciousness. We find your people to be beautiful, welcoming, courageous, resilient, and most of all, a lot like us, and us a lot like you. In the vigil, you talked about the 4 directions that all men can come from to sit with you. A lot like my people. We talk about that all the time. I heard you talk about how all paths lead to the same place, and particularly those of spiritual nature. You've talked about how you've become as every part of an American here as anyone. You've sacrificed, you've given, you've grown, you've contributed, you've improved. You're present. This tragedy has done nothing but inspire us to be greater, to be closer. Life After Hate also participates in an international community called the Summit Against Violent Extremism. That community wraps itself around you, supports you, wants to offer you a platform in which to share your story, ask you to join us in your cause. It could be a platform where you educate the people about who you are. It could be a platform where we can educate you about who we are. It could be a platform in which meaningful and positive relationships that can lead to positive activism can be made possible. Whether it's through SAVE or through Life After Hate or through the Sikh community, we are all waging peace, as my good friend and founder of Life After Hate, Arno Michael, says. We extend our sincerest condolences, and we await to see what is next for all of us. And as I've been discovering, many acts of terrorism such as this often result in failure for the attackers. And although we call it terrorism, it's a pitiful attempt. Oftentimes what I see come out of this are the very victims themselves inspired to use their voice to embrace the contradiction of hate and love, and to overwhelm the negativity with their basic human goodness. We encourage all our viewers and listeners to fear none, to frighten none, and ultimately to practice peace.